What's going on? Welcome to another live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. It's been a good week, man. Whole lot going on in the sports world. Some more record breaking moments from the ladies of basketball, of college basketball. Big knockout in boxing. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce my co-host, my brother Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in Two Games. What's going on, man?
Trip, what's really good, bro? Like we get to it every Sunday. This Sunday, special again. We got so much to talk about, and baseball's right around the corner as well. You mentioned boxing, you mentioned NBA, the ladies' game going crazy right now. Baseball's right around the corner as well.
That, it's crazy because we both had on baseball hats today, and I was like, you know what, there's some baseball going on. I want to, rep the team. So I threw the Yankee fitted on. I see you got the Expos, John.
Got
You
the
know what I'm
throwback
saying?
Expos joint, but the Met, I'm saving the Met joint for opening weekend. We
Mhm.
bring out the Mets gear opening weekend.
Okay, yeah. I think I might get something new to start the season as well. I might try to go to the home opener this year. I haven't done a home opener yet, so I think that's what I want to do. Because that and see Garrett Cole pitch because I haven't seen him yet. I keep catching off days when he's not there, and it's just like, all right, I got to get one where he's there, and then hopefully we can get back to the playoffs this year and start doing some numbers. Get back, get that number 28 on the stat sheet. That's what we're trying to do. But before we do get started on the show, I gotta say this because it's March 10th. Yesterday was March 9th. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know what that means. Rest in peace to the late, great legend Christopher Wallace, aka the Notorious B.I.G. And the reason I gotta do that is because little did I know that decades later, Eric, you and I would have a connection to that whole storyline. You know what I mean? Shout out to Big Gene. He was live yesterday talking his talk. But yeah, we kind of became a part of that history and the media coverage that you and I have done over the past 5 years. Bringing Gene Deal around and showing off, what I'm saying, everything that he had going on, everything with that whole storyline. So, what I'm saying, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. I would have never thought, like as you mentioned, that there would at least be some connection to one of the greatest lyricists and one of the greatest contributors to our culture ever, and Notorious B.I.G. But hearing the stories from Big Gene, I never take them for granted. We always speak with Gene off air, and there's so many things I wish we could share with the people that Gene has told us, whether it's stories or experiences with Big. But I feel honored that we have that opportunity at least to learn a little something from Gene in regards to B.I.G.
Facts. So, but with that being said, Brooklyn, we did it, and let's get into some sports, man. Let's start with the NBA. Um, couple of key injuries that's going to shake things up in the Western Conference. I think the biggest one because he's probably going to be out the longest amount of time is Karl Anthony Towns, Minnesota Timberwolves. They have been on a tear this entire season, looking like a legitimate not only just playoff contender, they've been looking like title contenders as the season has continued to progress. But they do lose maybe their best player in Karl Anthony Towns. Um, how much of an impact is that loss going to have on the Minnesota Timberwolves for the second half of the remainder of the season? Because I think we got about 20 games left. So,
It's a major impact. This was a team that last year, through the struggles of figuring out how to play Karl Anthony Towns with Rudy Gobert and obviously the ascension of Anthony Edwards, this year they figured it out, right? Trip, like Karl Anthony Towns was looking like a legitimate all-star at the four position and learning how to play next to Gobert, and the spacing on the floor was perfect. And now you lose him, and then you got to wonder, like, can we get that momentum back if he were to return at some point? I think it changes everything in the West. Granted, they were a very young team, and I don't think either one of us had them going to the finals. But fully healthy, they were a good enough team where you could say, hey, they're going to compete with pretty much everyone in the West, maybe outside of Denver, but they would compete with everyone else. And even with Denver, I think it would give them a shot because at least it would give them the two legitimate bigs to go up against the Joker. Without them, I don't know if they could win a playoff series, to be honest, because Gobert isn't enough offensively to kind of complement Edwards. Defensively, he's great, but offensively, you needed that piece. You needed that guy to be the stretch four who could step out, shoot the three the way Karl Anthony Towns does. and give you that versatility. So it is a major impact for this team, and it changes their trajectory for the playoffs.
Yeah. We spoke about them playing the Lakers a couple of years. I think it was last show we talked about that, and the difference in them having AD along um with Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee. So now you kind of have a similar situation with Minnesota. So I think they could keep it competitive if you have those 2 7-footers there. And Gobert is one of the best defensive centers players, period, in the NBA right now. So he can definitely help. I'm not gonna say because you're not gonna stop an MVP. You know what I'm saying? But to make things difficult, make other guys have to step up and make big shots. Gobert is that type of defender, and you also have to guard Karl Anthony Towns on the offensive end because he can score from anywhere on the court. So somebody's gonna have to step out and guard him. Somebody's gonna have to guard him in the post. You know what I'm saying? That could be a little difficult for Jokic if you also need him to put up 30 points on the other end of the floor. So they've outperformed everybody's expectations right now. He may be back for the first round of the playoffs, but again, it's a torn meniscus, so everybody heals differently. He could be back, he could not be back. If he is not back, though, I don't see them. I don't see them making out of the first round of the playoffs because, and we're gonna get to this, Eric. You could possibly be playing one of the 4 biggest superstars in basketball right now in that first round. You could the way the playing tournament is looking right now. You could have to go up against KD and Devin Booker, LeBron and AD, Steph, Clay and Draymond, or Luka and Kyrie in the first round of the playoffs, and without Karl Anthony Towns, they're giving you that second uh, offensive input into that game because it's gonna be tough for Anthony Edwards. I don't know if he could put up 50 a night against the Lakers by himself. He may be able to do it on one night, maybe even 2, but for a whole series, I don't know if he'll be able to do that by himself.
I not only do I think maybe he can. I don't want to go too far and say he can't do it. Maybe he can. But this team doesn't have enough playoff experience to offset losing that type of production, right? You're talking about a couple years ago when Pat Bev started crying because they want to play in game. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have enough. They haven't been battle tested enough to say, hey, you know what? Without Karl Anthony Towns, we can kind of survive and wait till he gets back. No, you need all hands on deck. You need everyone available to really make this thing go. And more importantly, a guy like Karl Anthony Towns and his ability to stretch the floor makes the game easier for Anthony Edwards. So Anthony Edwards may still be able to get his, as you mentioned, but him alone to beat some of those names you mentioned, that I don't think is possible.
Yeah. First of all, let me shout out everybody in the comments. I see the comments coming in right now. We're gonna get to college basketball in a minute because I know it was a crazy day. I seen Angel Reese was going at it, and they got a little wild at the end of that game. So we're gonna talk about that and Caitlin Clark as well, doing what she's doing, and Juju. Juju's already passed Caitlin Clark in her rookie season. So she's one of the ones. If she stays healthy.
Yep. Freshman points. She's all time. Yep, most points as a freshman.
Yeah, and I said last week that if she keeps up at this pace, she'll pass Caitlin Clark for the most points scored in the next 4 years. You know what I mean? So we're gonna definitely get to the ladies in a minute. Let me just run through a little bit more of this NBA stuff, and then I'll get to a couple of these the questions. I see a couple of y'all got some NBA questions in the chat, so let's do that. Steph, the other big injury. Everything came back negative, so it's not a major thing, but he's going to miss a couple of games, and right now they're in the 10th seed. You don't want to start dropping games, and then it makes it hard for you guys to get back in to the playing tournament. They lost to San Antonio. Was last night without Steph. That was the first game without Steph. You don't want to have a situation where, let's just say, Steph misses 5 games and he'll be back. He'll be good. But you don't want to now go, because you just lost 1. You don't want to go 0-6 while Steph is out, and then that ladder starts looking real high trying to climb back into the play-in tournament.
Yeah, they're 5 games up on Houston right now for the 10th spot. So, as you mentioned, it's very possible that things could fall apart. They should be able to be okay, though. But they got some big games, man. I mean, they get the Warriors tomorrow. But after that, they got the Mavs. They got the Lakers, who are ahead of them. They get the Grizzlies. They get the Pacers. And then they get the Timberwolves. So, you think that the Grizzlies and the Spurs, they should be able to win those games. Those other games, though, are probably losses. Again, the Mavs, Lakers, Pacers, and Timberwolves, they're probably going to lose those games. And they also got the Knicks in that mix as well after the Laker game. So it's not the easiest stretch. You would think they should be okay. But this is dangerous times for them. This late in the year, Steph going out, and you're holding on to the 10th spot. Let's call it what it is. You're holding on to the 10th spot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like out of the games you just named, the only team that I said because now I'm thinking about how they just lost to the Spurs. The only team out of those we named 6 teams that I think they could beat is Memphis. And don't let Memphis get one of them nights, you know what I'm saying, where y'all all shooting poorly and they just making shots. They just happen to be making shots. And now you done lost to Memphis too, because now we could be 0 for 7 right now without Steph. Hopefully he comes back for their sake. He comes back, before that happens. But I mean, if you're trying to make a playoff run, you can't risk Steph Curry, getting hurt further.
You can't. But this is where they at. They got to make the best of it. I think, like I said, I'm a gambler, man, Trip. I think they should be able to beat the Spurs and the Grizz, but we'll see. Time will tell.
All right, man. Let's go to one of these questions here. Shout out to Kyrie Thompson. What's going on, man? Let me just, because I know David. What's good, David? Definitely first in the comments this week, so I had to show you some love. But when we get to the ladies, I'm gonna throw your comment up there first. Kyrie says the Nuggets seem to be up their game even more and been beating everyone. Thoughts on them beating the Celtics? Most felt they would miss Brown and Green. They're on fire since the All-Star break. We spoke, I think either last week or the week before last, about Jason Tatum's making the case for MVP, and you specifically said he's got to dominate in these games when they're playing the Denvers, when they're playing the Bucks, when they're playing OKC. The guys that are in that conversation with you, you have to dominate. You had a huge opportunity here, and Coach you, Eric, they wet the bed.
They ish the bed. They ish the bed. Yes.
What are we doing here, man?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know when a baby has all that going up his back, and
you got to throw
the whole baby got to go. Let's start over. Let's hit reset on this whole process.
You gotta make another one.
Bring in a new baby, because that can't be my baby. But this is why we said, and shout out to the supporters, but for a couple of weeks, we got the question about Jason Tatum being an MVP of the league. And you and I both said he wasn't top 3 for this reason. Because in these moments, this is where Tatum's got to step up. And let's not forget, when everyone was on the Tatum hype train a few years ago and they played the Warriors in the finals, he struggled. He didn't look like the best Boston Celtic then. And so he's got to show and prove. He's got to do it consistently against the best teams. He had an opportunity against the Nuggets. He did not play well. He is not an MVP of this league. He'd probably be first team all NBA, but he's definitely not an MVP of this league. And to Kyrie, shout out to Kyrie, the Nuggets, this is what championship teams do. This is what they do. When it starts to get late in the season and we're ramping up for the playoffs, now you're going to start to see the best version of us. Now we're going to start to be clicking to remind you why we are champions. The Nuggets are that. The Celtics, they hope to be champions. They got to become more consistent, though.
Yeah. You can't be out here. You beat the Warriors, who are a shell of themselves, by 52. But now you know what I'm saying? You got to do it to that's where it counts, man. When Denver is there, man. You got to do it against those teams. So it is, it is what it is. But yeah, man, shout out to the Nuggets, man. They playing some great basketball right now. I mean, Jokic is just amazing. We're like, what can you say? Like, I mean, I don't even like. I guess maybe a knock on his game is he's not the most defensive of players, but I mean, when you're averaging damn near triple double, does that even matter? And you're winning championships? Like
It doesn't.
It doesn't. At that point, it's like, all right, he don't play defense, but you still can't beat him.
Yeah.
Okay, he's still a multiple MVP. So it is what it is. Listen, Steph wasn't the greatest of defenders, but what are we talking about? We talking about still the greatest shooter of all time, who has 4 championship rings and 2 MVPs back to back. By the way, you know what I mean. So when you one of them ones, there ain't really much you can say if you have like one of those type of wins. Could be better on defensive end. Yeah,
that's a fact.
Paul, we gonna get into the scuffle in a minute because they was going at it from early, going back and forth. So the things got heated a little bit in that game. It happens sometimes in sports where things get heated like that, and we rock out. But you know what? Let me go to one of the Let me go to this one here because shout out to South Carolina as well because they've been ripping and running. David says, "How are you fellas doing? I want to say that women's college basketball is more lit right now than the men's college game. LSU, South Carolina going now, and Caitlin won earlier, and Juju playing at 5 on ESPN. You're absolutely right.
I love that. I love that statement by him too. But go ahead, Trip.
Yeah, this is, I'm not gonna say just this season. I'm gonna say the past season and a half. I feel like women's college basketball has really gotten lit between Caitlin Clark, what she was doing last season, and Angel Reese, and that whole storyline building up to the playoffs, and ultimately LSU winning the national championship game. I think it started from that point there, from midway through this past year. And then now with the emergence of Juju and a lot of these other women, and seeing what they're doing, and then Caitlin Clark, Blake breaking all of these records. These guys, these ladies are getting huge endorsement deals. You know what I mean? Like I done seen the Angel Reese and Flau'jae Amazon commercial 1,000 times already at this point. So there's a lot more money being generated right now from women's college basketball. You gotta love it. And then you got the WNBA players now who are getting involved. I seen Candace Parker and Asia Wilson taking jabs at each other, in a playful manner earlier as well. So yeah, the ladies are lit right now.
The women's game on the college level has surpassed the men's game, and a lot of that has to do with the names that you mentioned, Trip, and what now has happened. Because for so long we wondered what the impact would be on the one and done, and what it would do for the men's game, right? Because we never get an opportunity to really kind of embrace these young men. It's kind of like they're there for a short period of time and then they're on to the next level. And every school does it. It's not just Kentucky anymore. There was a time where Kentucky was the only team that really did it. Now every school does it. But the women's game, we get a chance to appreciate Caitlin Clark and what she did last year. We get a chance to appreciate Angel Reese coming back this year, now SEC Player of the Year and defending champs. We get a chance now that we know we're going to see the growth of Juju Watkins and what she can become. You got kids, young women like Paige Buckers and UConn. So you have this star power at the college level that we're getting to appreciate for multiple years. Whereas on the men's game, we're getting them for one season. They're off to the next level. And a lot of times we don't even get a chance to really appreciate their game at all because they only play 20 games, 25 games for their school, and then they move on to the next level. The women's game has surpassed the men's game. And I think this is something that women's sports needs to lean into. They need to kind of embrace this, that, hey, look, we'll never be the men's game, and that's fine. But what you do get with us is this opportunity to watch our talent grow and watch our talent become what, ultimately its potential, its ceiling. Again, Caitlin Clark, we highlighted it last week when somebody asked, like, oh, it feels like she kind of came out of nowhere. No, she didn't. She's been averaging 27 points a game since her freshman year. And 2 years, and 2 years from now, Trip, 2 years from now, if we're blessed and fortunate enough to continue to do this show and interact with our fans and our followers, we're going to say the same thing about Juju Watkins. We're going to be like, no, she ain't just come out of nowhere. She's been doing her thing at USC for several seasons now. So it's great to see for the women's game.
Well, fortunately for Juju, I don't think anybody's going to have that problem because she's doing this right now at a time when women's basketball is really lit, and the records that she's breaking at one of the most historic universities as far as sports, sports wise goes. So they're gonna know Juju. So now, but what this is gonna do is gonna start to open the eyes of everybody to, yeah, we know Juju is coming in and she's nice, but the number 2 girl and the 3 and the 4 and the 5 and 6, because there's so much light right now on women's college basketball. Yeah, those stars, when they having those big nights, they're gonna get more shine than we've ever seen before. And yes, the WNBA does need to capitalize on that. That's why I think it was dope that they showed the back and forth between Candace Parker and Asia Wilson, how they were kind of joking around, you know what I'm saying, with their alma maters playing each other and whatnot. So if you can kind of capitalize, it'll help with the game, with the WNBA game, because everything helps. You know what I'm saying? This could be a nice little boost. Shout out to the ladies. Let me go to Kyrie's question. What would a national title do for Caitlin's college career? I think it would stamp that she's top 5 all time.
Top 5 dead or alive?
Right now, I believe she's top 10, but I think a national championship would solidify her as top 5. The reason I say that is because, I mean, you didn't see what she's did. She's broken every record. And again, one of the things that you mentioned earlier, as far as on the men's side, is, a lot of them being 1 and done or 2 and done. I'm saying we see less and less seniors in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in the 80s, going into the 90s, that's all you were going to see for the most part. But now we don't see that right now. Excuse me, in the 70s and 80s, but we don't really see that now. But because all of the women, for the most part, like, nobody's coming out in their first year and going to the WNBA. First of all, you might make more money staying in college that year than you would in the WNBA because of the NIL deals that you have, you know what I'm saying, at your fingertips, a la Angel Reese. And as far as a top, you know what I'm saying, prospect goes. So, I think a national championship puts the stamp. She's the all-time scoring leader until Juju comes in and takes that one. But for at least for the next 4 years, she's gonna have that record. And then now the success that she's also had, her winning, the scoring average, getting to the chip. Obviously them losing it in that game, but they're gonna have a chance to go on another run this year. I think they can get right back at least to the Elite Eight. You know what I mean? And realistically, the Final Four, they have that type of ability, so she could be back in there. So if she can get that national championship, though, you have to, because so many people put so much on having a ring. Now, I could go into the stats and just compare and contrast to the other women who we speak about as far as college basketball legends, you know what I mean? And compare like that. But more people want to put it on championships. They'll lift you higher if you have that championship. So, yeah, that will put the stamp on it and say, yeah, all right, we got to put her in the top 5 as the all-time scoring leader and a national championship, because all of these women basically are paying 4 years. So they all have the same amount of time to accomplish those things.
If she wins a championship, that's got to put a top 3. As I highlighted in the past, she's playing at a program that is not a national power. She's not at UConn, at Tennessee, at South Carolina, at USC. She's not at one of these major programs. I mean, even on the men's side, Iowa isn't a major college basketball program. So if she wins a national championship, keep in mind, that means she would have gone to at least back-to-back national championships and at least won one of them, along with also being the all-time leading scorer. There's nobody else on her team that will make the WNBA. So if she takes that team to back-to-back national championships and at least wins one of them, I don't know how you could not say she's not top 3 all time. And shout out to Hoop Baller School, because he's posed this question on his page several times as well. But I think even without a national championship, she's at least top 10, maybe even top 5 all time. With the national championship, she's top 3. She's top 3. And to me, end the discussion, she would be in the top 3.
That's it. You got to put some respect on her name. And Pooh, I see you taking shots at me in the comments here.
Don't want to.
Yes, I understand. Right now,
say his name, Pooh. Pooh, don't you say his name. You know his name, Pooh. Say his name. You know, we know who you talk about, Pooh. Go ahead, say his name.
Why are you taking shots right now? Yes, I understand. I told you, it's we still going through the loss of the GOAT coach, Coach K, right now. We gotta get some things together and get back, right? But you ain't got to be taking shots at me like that, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that the scuffle was crazy. Um, you can't have that. I just said we get into the bag. You can't have things like this going on. See, oh man, it's crazy. But
I will say this though. Let's not criticize or condemn the young ladies, because too often in a men's game we call that like, oh, we love that fire, we love that attitude, that aggression. I myself, Trip, I coach youth basketball for 2 years. I love that type of energy. We competing at the highest level. Whatever level you on, we competing at that level. We're not going to criticize the ladies. Yeah, we don't want to fight, but I understand the aggression. This is the SEC championship between two teams that have legitimate chances to go on and win a national championship. So there's going to be a lot of intensity. There's going to be a lot of aggression there. And this isn't their first meeting. They played early in the season. So there's going to be a lot of when I see you again. So shout out to the ladies for bringing that energy.
Yeah, listen, I don't care if it's the men or the women. I'm just saying my is messing up the bag. We starting to get that money, them deals is coming in. People start acting funny when things like this happen. So y'all don't want to mess up them NIL deals. I want y'all to get as much money as y'all can, ladies, while y'all in them schools, because they making as much money as they can off of y'all. So, and I mean that's for the fellas too. Even though I know now they're getting the NIL deals, but for a long time it was just the universities making billions of dollars off of these athletes, most of which won't play professional sports, whether it be the men or the women. And with the woman, there's even less of a chance to make it than on the men's side, which is damn near impossible. So I just want y'all to keep getting to the bag, man. That's what it's all about. What you pull? All right, pull. Trip, who's your top females? I got Cheryl Miller, Stewie, Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi, and Candace Parker. I mean, my list is probably similar to your list. That could change in about a month though. somebody might get moved out of there. I'll tell you who won't get moved out of there though. Cheryl won't get moved out of the top 5 for me. Stewie and Tarazi won't be moved out of the top 5 for me. So it would have to be between. And again, I'm saying this respectfully because all 5 of these are all-time great. So I don't want we can't give somebody else praise without tearing somebody else down. So this is not me tearing somebody else down. This is just me saying out of the most legendary of legendary legends, okay, I might put somebody a little bit higher up on the ladder. And when you go through time after a while, some records are going to be broken. All right. LeBron James just got 40,000 points. But prior to him breaking Kareem's record, Kareem had that record for 40 years? Kareem had the before LeBron passed him. So yeah, at some point in time, we might get blessed with somebody who is better than Michael Jordan or Wayne Gretzky. It may happen. I don't know if it will, but it may. But it's gonna be slim and far between. But we're just on the rung of ladders. I may have to, if Caitlin Clark does win a national championship this year, I will put her in the top 5.
I love this list, Pool, and I agree. All these women are phenomenal in that top 5. I just got one slight mention. Either Breonna Stewart or Maya Moore, one of them got to move over because Shavika Holsclaw is supposed to be in that top 5. So that for me, that's the one. Cheryl, however you want to rank her. To me, Diana Taurasi is probably top 2 because of what she did at UConn. But Shamika Holsclaw has got to be in that top 5 somewhere. So, like I said, either Stewie or Maya Moore, one of them might have to slide down to number 6. And that's no disrespect, because that's still a great compliment that you're in that conversation. But she got to be there. Let's never forget Shamiko Holschool on the cover of Slam magazine rocking a Knick jersey, where there was real conversation like, could she be the first female to ever really make the NBA? Let's never forget that. And then as we mentioned, Caitlin Clark, even if she doesn't win, if she could get to another Final Four, I don't know how we could discredit her impact, because these women look at the programs that these women played at. These are major programs. And Caitlin Clark is doing it at a program where no other player on that team is going to the WNBA. And realistically, no 5-star recruit in men's or women's basketball go to Iowa. And she has changed the narrative about Iowa. She's doing basically at Iowa what Steph did at Davidson, but on a bigger level, because Steph didn't even go to the final to the championship game at Davidson. She's done that at Iowa. So Caitlin Clark is going to be in the conversation in some way, shape, or form. But we got to let the season play out for her as well.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Ryan. We see you out there. We have not got to football yet, but when we do, we definitely gonna talk about that Jerry Jeudy trade, as well as the Mac Jones trade. We've been talking about the ladies. Let me throw Rich Dre's comment up here. Bronny James the other night played 16 minutes, had 0 points. All I can say is wow. I mean, you may have a night like that, which you know what I mean. Like, you just get back the next game. That's all I can say to that one. I'm not a person who had Bronny as a great prospect. I'm just like, all right, let me see, what he does. That's all I expect. I don't have any expectations from Bronny. To say, like, I don't even, when I watch college basketball, even though I'm like, obviously I know Zion is a big name, or that year when it was Zion, RJ, and Cam Reddish coming in, like that was a big year. But realistically, when you're changing levels from high school to college and then to the pros, for me it's like kind of like I'm just going, everybody has an open slate, because I've seen kids that were top players in high school go to college and it doesn't look the same. I've seen kids that were mid-tier go to college and ball out. And in the same way, going into the NFL, I've seen guys in college be superstars and come to the NBA, and that is good. And I've seen guys, you know what I'm saying, that where you be like, all right, they're somewhere in the middle of the pack, come to the NBA and be superstars. You know what I mean? So right now I'm just watching and seeing what's going on. One game, all right, whatever, he scores 0. And if he let's say he averages 0 for the rest of the season, all right. Does he still got a scholarship? He's gonna come back next year, and you better work over the summer and put that $1.5 million, because I know he get them NIL deals like John do, and get in the gym and do what you got to do if your goal is really to make it to the league.
Man, we've said it so many times, and I just want to rewind back to a statement that was made last week on the show. We only continually talk about Bronny and Braun because you guys ask us. So I don't want you guys to think this is part of the rundown. No, I'm just saying, Trip, because people seem to think that this is part of the rundown. I promise you.
And let me look at the rundown.
Yeah. There's nowhere in the rundown where it says, let's get to Bronny. Yeah, you guys consistently talk about Bronny. Again, change his last name and we're not even having this conversation. If his last name was Smith, Jones, Jackson, anything else, we would not be having this conversation. Let's not be too critical of the kid either, though. And I'm going to continue to use this example, and I'm not saying he's this type of player, but I'm just using the example. A lot of you guys did not know who Ja Morant was his freshman year in college. He developed his game, and then after his sophomore years, when we really started talking about Ja Morant. Again, I'm not saying Bronny's that type of player, but it's a prime example of sometimes a kid needs a year on campus to figure it out. Oh, let's not forget, he did go into cardiac arrest 9 months ago. So there's also that, right? Like, and USC is a major program where a lot of other 4- and 5-star recruits play at. So he's fighting for minutes. But this is a good thing for Bronny. He's having to compete for everything he's getting. USC isn't just rolling him out there for 25, 30 minutes a night and saying, oh, because you're LeBron's son, you're going to get to play. They're making him earn it. So are they going to be nice like that? Absolutely. As Tripp mentioned, it's just one of them nights, man. You just hope the kid continues to get consistent, gets better, and puts himself in position to get to the next level. But let's not be overcritical about a freshman at USC. Like, let's think about what we're critiquing here. It's a freshman. He's going to have his struggles. It is what it is.
Yeah. A little bit of NBA talk. OKC got the number one spot right now. Do they finish the season in first place? I think they do. Um, just based off the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is not going to be there for the remainder of the season, and although I know they got to win the other night, eventually it's going to catch up to them when they start playing the upper echelon of teams. Then that's when you're really going to start to feel that the Karl Anthony Towns loss and what they do, because I'm interested in seeing who's going to step up now and be that second scorer for them, because we know at most we're gonna get the most we're gonna get out of Rudy Gobert is about 14 on any given night, right? McDaniels is there. He's a kid that I think has potential still. So this is going to be his opportunity to step up and see if he can get his numbers up. But realistically, I mean, I don't know if there's a combined two guys that can do what Karl Anthony Towns or contribute what he's giving you on a nightly basis. So I don't. It's going to be tough for them to maintain, and then they're already in the number 2 seed right now. So I just think it's going to be a lot harder, barring anybody from OKC gets healthy. I think OKC finishes with the best record in basketball.
I think it'll be Denver. As we mentioned, Denver's starting to click at the right time. They're only a half game back, and I think Denver understands this is that time where let's make this push. Let's get the number 1 seed. And Denver as a city and the whole location with the altitude is a legitimate advantage if you got to go there, for multiple games throughout a series. So I think Denver will get it. OKC kind of falls into that same range that we talked about before, about a young team that maybe isn't ready to handle the expectations and understands what it takes to be the number 1 seed. So that's why I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they have a couple, shaky losses to end the season, not understanding the magnitude of the moment. Whereas Denver, on the other hand, as a champion, understands, let's close the season strong. Let's go into the playoffs on the right foot and show everybody why we're the champ. So I like Denver to actually be the number 1 seed when it's all said and done. Amani, I couldn't agree more, Amani.
We've been trying. Well, I don't know about Braun, because we might have to talk about Braun because the Lakers, you know what I'm saying, right now. So we may have to talk about him. But definitely Bronny. We haven't been trying to talk about Bronny pretty much, you know what I mean? Let me just go to your other comment real quick. Because it was similar to Rich Dre's comment up there. Hey, what y'all doing on early? Well, we having a debate, right? Dre and Michelle is 39 and Jalen is 21. Legal, I guess, but I think she looks horrible messing with a kid, and she probably someone he thirsted over, and because he got bread, she gave him a chance. My mom's asked me, is it okay for a 15-year-old to date a 19-year-old? What do y'all think? What's too old or too young? You gonna have us crazy conversation right now. All right, let me start off with the Drea and Jalen Green thing. Um, I think it's crazy, and I don't know about because you said she gave him a chance. I don't think it's no give him a chance. I think she was trying to get that come up, because that looks crazy to be at her age, and then you got, like, it's one thing for you to be dating. You could have still got the Birkin bags and all that other stuff, just dating and get, y'all having y'all relations every, whenever y'all do what y'all do. But come on, man, you got to be like, that's a tough one, man. I'm sorry, and I don't like be talking about people's personal business, but I think that's kind of crazy, and I think that if this were an older man, and let's say who's younger, whatever, whoever's the youngest new chick, in the league, and got her, you know what I'm saying? I think it would be, the talk would be so much different. It would just be a bunch of crazy discussions and bashing and all that. But I just think that's crazy that she's pregnant by him.
Well, if the roles were reversed, we know the type of words we would hear: preyed on, groomed, took advantage of. those type of terminologies, and they would be right. Now, Jalen Green is not a kid. I would not categorize him as a kid. He is a young man. He is 22 years old. But let's not forget that Drea's oldest child is also 22 years old. So this is her messing with and now being pregnant by a young man that's the same age as her son. And I'm sure if we had the chance to ask Drea, she would tell you that she wouldn't approve of her son dating a 39-year-old woman. Let's keep it a buck. It doesn't, whether we switch genders or not, no parent would ever be okay with that type of age gap. I think that Amani, you're onto something though, because I had this conversation with a coworker of mine, and they mentioned that scenario, that it's very possible that when he was younger, and she was kind of the it woman at the time, that she was always kind of his fantasy or his crush. And now that he's in position to actually meet her, he's kind of stepping forward on that. There's somebody. Trip, we joke about, I'm not going to say her name, but there's a particular R&B queen that you've always said has had your heart. Did we not, Trip? Did we not?
Yeah, we have.
And so if you got the opportunity to be in that room with that R&B queen, even though she is older than us, you would shoot your shot probably. You probably would let her know, hey, look, man, I always had the biggest crush on you. I took a beating behind, having a crush about you.
Yeah,
so it's very possible that Jalen Green saw the same opportunity. Hey, Dre, I always had a thing for you. But to me, she is manipulating and taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
To now be in a relationship with somebody who you are 17 years older than and have a child by him, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And Amani, to your last point, as a father of two young women, I would not be okay with my 15-year-old daughter dating a 19-year-old young man. But to each his own. I wouldn't be mad at somebody else if they were okay with that. I know for me, I wouldn't be okay with it though.
Because the problem is 4 years is really not that much of a age gap. And if she was 22 and the man was 26, nobody would have an issue with it. But because you're talking about a 15-year-old, and now it's like, nah, nobody. I know I wouldn't want none of my sisters. You know what I'm saying? At 15, messing with 19, because in my mind, we're not even about to do that. So I'm not with that 19 and 15-year-old. But 4 years, I don't think that's a large amount of time. But in this thing, with 17 years, granted they're both adults, and this is one thing I gotta say to Jalen Green and to the rest of these dudes out here. Like I'm just confused. Like, when are y'all gonna learn y'all lessons? Like, how many of your peers have to, I'm saying, deal with things like this before you say, you know what, maybe I should just put the condom on tonight. Maybe I shouldn't put my life on the line or put my money on the line by getting, what I'm saying, somebody pregnant like this on the fly. So y'all got to strap up, man. Get them condoms, man. They give them out free. You can get free condoms. You can get condoms anywhere. Then you don't have to worry about being like Anthony Edwards, and you got to pay somebody for abortion that they didn't even have. It's a lot of things that we should be learning from each other, and it's like these dudes just keep quoting. I think that's probably, other than bad real estate deals, women is probably what gets athletes to go broke the fastest.
That's a major part of it, yes. And like I said, it's tough, man, because I don't like saying he's a kid either, though. Like, that's the only part about Amani's comment that I don't like. He's 22 years old. He is old enough to make his own decisions. And if this who he wants to be with, that's fine. But I also think there's that aspect of it where there are these women. We know this to be true. And I'm not saying this about Drea specifically, but we know this to be true. There are women who target athletes. So I don't think it's coincidence that Drea, who has a history of only dating celebs and athletes, ends up with Jalen Green, who's 22 years old, who, oh, by the way, next summer is probably going to sign a max extension with the Houston Rockets and get almost $200 million. Like, I don't think it's coincidence that all this is happening. I'm sure she knew, like, oh, hey, we know where this is headed. and we're gonna play this out because let's be real too. We're gonna say this: most women at 39 years old are not looking to have children with anyone, let alone having a child with somebody that you're 18 years older than. Let's make sure we add that in there as well.
Yeah. Freshman data senior. Shout out to Dion Space. Are you talking about a freshman in college dating senior, or are you talking about a freshman in high school dating senior? Because if it's a freshman, if it's a college, it definitely doesn't matter. But in high school, I don't have a problem with it because for the most part, you're still both minors, so I think you're in the same realm. You know what I'm saying? Still, but again, with that one, it's kind of like to each his own. But I personally, if you're talking about a 17-year-old and they're dating a 14-year-old freshman in high school, I guess I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? As long as everybody's being safe and ain't nobody doing nothing crazy, then you know what I'm saying. Like I said, they're both minors. So now the problem is gonna come in though when she's 16 and he turns 19 and the parents get, get mad, and that's when you might have an issue because I've seen cases like that where like say a senior is dating a freshman and now the male senior is 19, 20, and she's 16 going on 17, and now there's a problem because now he's adult, but they were dating since they were both in high school together.
Yeah, I mean that's why I say 15 and 19. As a parent, I wouldn't be okay with it because we understand that mentally they're on different levels. We know what a 19-year-old is expecting out of a relationship as opposed to a 15-year-old, right? Let's keep that in mind as well. When we were 19, we knew what we were looking for in our quote unquote boyfriend or girlfriend, as opposed to 15. And if you're talking a senior in college compared to a freshman coming in, again, mindset is a little different. But again, those are understandable age gaps. Those are people that's still within the kind of the same age range where it's like, I can get it, but
Yeah.
an 18-year age gap is crazy. And like, no, but like it is crazy, Trip.
It is though.
That's
No,
like
it really is. I'm for anybody.
anybody. That's a crazy age gap.
And
And I would love to see what people's response would be if there was a 40-year-old man out here dating one of these young women who was in a WNBA or was a track and field star. Like imagine if 2 years from now we find out Angel Reese is dating some 40-year-old dude.
Yeah.
We would be like, yo, what's going on here? Like, she's 21, 22 years old. Why is she dating this dude? So that part to me is a little crazy. But again, he's old enough to make his own decisions. And if this is who his heart pulls for and desires, I can't be mad at that.
Yeah. Pooh says, isn't LaMelo Ball the 37-year-old and Jaylen Brown is dating the 43-year-old? Is it LaMelo? Because I know LiAngelo is dating Miss Nikki Baby from Love and Hip Hop. I'm not sure about LaMelo. I know LiAngelo had and they just had a baby, or either they had the baby already, or I know she was pregnant. But I'm not sure about LaMelo. But who knows? I mean, listen, in my heyday, I dated an older woman or two myself, so I'm not knocking a hustle. I'm just saying, you are young, men making millions of dollars, and you should be more protective of your money than just, going out and having unprotected sex and your health as well. You should be more concerned with like that because clearly you're not using condoms if you're getting people pregnant. So your health is also a factor in that one.
Even if LaMelo, I'm not sure of the ages of the individuals that LaMelo and Jaylen Brown are dating or dealing with, but that still doesn't excuse it. We're talking about Drea and Jalen Green because Drea is a public figure and she's been in the public light for quite some time. And Pooh, as you highlighted, she has previous kids by other athlete millionaires. So there is a trend here. This isn't like the one of one. This isn't the first time she's gone down this road. That's why I say like a lot of this is strategic. I'm sure Drea didn't know who Jalen Green was 2 years ago when he first entered the league. So even if he was super thirsty early on and always had a crush on you, I'm sure when she found out who he was and saw his potential and realized that when his rookie deal is up, he gonna sign that super max and get about $200 million.
Yeah,
it piqued their interest. Let's keep it a buck. If we're gonna be honest about it, it piqued her interest. Like, all right, I want to see what this young dude is. Because I guarantee you, if there was a 22-year-old that was fresh out of college that just had a regular job and tried to approach Drea, he would never get a chance.
Nope.
And he would never get a chance.
Come up here and cap if you want to, but there ain't no way you about to tell me.
He was 22, fresh out of college with his degree, on the verge of a really good job. I'm not talking about some 22-year-old that's about to go sleep on his family member's couch. On the verge of a really good job.
Yeah.
Drea would never give him a shot. But because it's Jalen Green, who plays for the Houston Rockets, who's on the verge of getting a $200 million contract extension, I mean, I'll give him a shot. So we know what it is.
Exactly. Dion Hope's page. A lot of these young cats going for the OGs till they get in their 60s. And I'm not mad at that because I would be doing the same thing if I was them. Whoever was my childhood crush and I'm lit like that and I'm getting millions of dollars, yes, I would be trying to take it down. But yo, you got use a condom, bro. Like, especially when you talk, like, I mean, and because I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to bash Drea because I'm not trying to do that. But
no, it's not a bash fest. No, we're not doing that.
In comparison to what he's going to be doing in his life as far as being an NBA player, potential NBA star, because that's like the level that he's on. He's on track to be one of the higher paid players in the NBA, right? In comparison to that, realistically, with Drea, we know her for being on reality TV.
Yeah,
like it's not like, you know what I'm saying, like. And as she could have businesses or whatever, but just like we know Jalen Green because he is one of the more talented younger basketball players in the NBA right now, and he's going to continue to ascend because of that. Because he's one of the better younger players. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to continue to ascend. We actually see and know what he's out here doing. I don't, you know what I'm saying, with Dre, I don't know really what did she do, or she was just a baddie. You know what I mean? That linked up with some rich dudes, and she came up like that. Because I don't know, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I apologize now if I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
Nah, but and right, she's turning. She's a businesswoman now. Don't get me wrong.
That's now. I'm saying
now
you getting your whoever was the first millionaire dude she was messing with. That, you know what I'm saying? What were you doing before that? When it was just you. What was, young and single Drea doing?
I'm still standing on my opinion, bro. Like I said, if this was a 22-year-old with it, would she have dated a 22-year-old that was in the military who just had a good job, a 22-year-old that worked in accounting, a 22-year-old, like I said, that just graduated college and had a good internship lined up? No, she would not. There's a reason why it's Jalen Green. Just like a few years ago when Brittany Renner was with PJ Washington. It's a reason why it's PJ Washington. Yeah. It ain't, oh, we have this great connection. Yeah, you have a great connection through money, through status. Because if that was the regular dude who there's plenty of 22-year-olds out here who's making money, who got good careers, they don't have NBA money because most of us don't have NBA money. Let's keep it a buck. But you would not have even entertained the conversation. Mm-hmm. If Jalen Green was a guy who worked IT and made 60 grand, 70 grand a year, you would not even entertain the conversation. Tell me I'm lying, Trip. And anybody in the comment section, I challenge you to tell me I'm lying.
Yeah.
If he was 6'5" but worked IT and made a good salary, he could never get beyond the, hey, how you doing? Never.
Yeah, like it is what it is. That's why, yeah. Pooh, that's what I'm saying. Remember, she was on Basketball Wives, but who's was she? She started with Chris Brown for a minute. That's what I mean. Like, I don't outside of the celebrity or athlete men that she's dated and then being on the reality TV. But prior to that, like I don't know what she was doing. I don't know what she's no wasn't and it wasn't anything major if she was doing something, because what I'm saying, like I didn't know who she was until, like I said, until that point. She had been doing her thing for a little while, but it wasn't nothing like she didn't own Microsoft or nothing, like, you know what I mean, like she wasn't this big actress. She didn't do like, so she's, yeah, but that was after the fact though. I mean, and what, first of all, I don't see again. It's not yet, but I don't want to want to talk bad. But yeah, she's been in a lot in some low budget movies.
That's
But
cool.
I'm not saying she ain't no Angela Bassett now. She ain't no Holly Berry. You know what I mean? Like, and large, and I don't want to, again, I don't want to knock her talent level, but I'm sure more of that's a lot more of just either who or someone trying to get someone to be in their project who has somewhat of a following already.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of those two things.
That's like saying Lala's a great actress because 50 keep putting her in the shows. He not putting her in the shows because she's a great actress. We know why he putting her in the shows.
Shout out to Lala.
Shout out to Lala though, but let's keep it a buck. What else has Lala acted in?
Raising Cane? No. Power.
50.
Yeah.
50.
No, she wasn't like.
She was in a movie. She was in a movie. No, she was in a movie. Nah, Pooh, I'm not trashing Lala. I'm not saying that. I'm not trashing Lala. But like, to Trip's point, a lot of times people with great followings on social media get roles in movies or shows because they know it's going to draw people to it.
Yeah, but at least no. Well, I will say this with Lala though. Lala is someone that I saw her come up and doing her thing as host. Drea, I knew nothing about her before she started, being with Celebrity Men. So for me, it's kind of like it's just more of the, all right, this is like one of the baddies who got people got to know and got lit.
I'm just responding to your comment, Pooh, where Pooh was like, I give her credit that she's been in a lot of low budget black movies. I'm just saying, like, there's a reason why 50, and I mean, I'm a fan of light skinned Keisha. I don't want this to come across the wrong way because I am a fan of light skinned Keisha. But there's a reason why she's in power, because she has a following. So all her followers who maybe would not have tuned into the show will watch because they know she's on the show. It's the same thing with anybody who has a following. Drea, to your point, Trip, there are people who will ask Drea, hey, be in my movie, be in my show, because they know you got 4 or 5 million followers who are going to tune in the moment you post. The moment you post that you're a part of this project, they're going to tune in. So that ain't a credit to like her acting skills. That's a credit to her following. She's an entrepreneur. She's doing her thing. But come on, y'all. Let's not front, bro. That's not front. We know if the roles were reversed and it was a man who was 39 years old dating a woman who was 22, y'all would be killing them in this comment section. It wouldn't even be no excuses.
Pooh, you talk about Eric. Come on now, you going in there.
Yeah, Pooh. See?
Outside of MTV, what's Lala's talent? She isn't great. Well, no, it's not even about whether or not you think she's talented. I'm just saying Lala has been here working. Like, she's not like in comparison to Drea, who I didn't know of Drea prior to the celebrity or athlete men that she's been in relations or been dating. With Lala, I knew who Lala was. Like, Lala was Lala before she became Carmelo Anthony's wife. Like, I knew, you know what I mean? She didn't just, she was just a baddie who I just happened to be out at a game or a party and I saw this NBA player or this, and he's like, oh, she's bad. And then now Lala was out here grinding, doing her thing.
Of course,
and
she's doing her thing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And she's still grinding and doing her thing. So those are two different things. We ain't gonna do that now with Lala.
Nah. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trashing Lala. I don't want that to come across that way. I'm just saying that's an example of somebody who has a great following,
yes,
then being put on a platform to Like, we're gonna capitalize on that following. You're gonna get the bag off it, but in return, we know we're gonna get some new viewers of the show because you're a part of the show. And there's male actors who fall in that same boat. You know what I'm saying? They got a following, and so let's put them in the scene. Let's get them on the show so that it generates an interest because we know there are people who follow this person.
And that's the okay, and because again, because just so you guys don't think it's like a personal thing with Drea, that's the way Hollywood works. I'm going to put the person that is going to be the biggest draw as my star. There's a reason why I'm going to put Will Smith in a movie over Joe Schmo because I know Will Smith is going to generate 400, 500, 600 million. There's a reason I'm going to put, you know, who else the top actors? Oh my god, now you got me drawing blanks with actors. Angela Bassett. There's a reason she's gonna get certain roles because she's a draw. All of these top people, they're draws. Yeah, and same thing with the NBA. That's why you'll see an athlete make a cameo on a TV show or in a movie because they're big draws. If I know, all right, me and Braun went to high school together. You know what I'm saying? You think I'm not gonna hit up Braun and now I'm doing movies, yo, Braun. I need you, bro. I need a cameo in the movie. Yeah, that's how this thing works.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's Hollywood. You're going to bring in the cast that are going to be the biggest draw that you can afford.
Yep.
Obviously, you got a multi-million-dollar budget, $100 million budget. You can afford some A-list stars. Your budget is a little lower. You might have to start getting the B list and the C list and the D list and the C, F and all that. And
No, that's a fact. That's exactly how it works. Shout out to Pooh though. Shout out to Pooh has some great comments there.
Oh, shoot.
I was waiting for this. I was waiting for you to put that one up on the screen.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure because about with Lisa Ray because the first time I heard about Lisa Ray was when she was in Players Club. So it's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't find out about Lisa Ray because she was dating somebody. I don't honestly outside of the Prince dude that she was dating, I don't really know that many people that she was with like that. I really know her from being in the Players Club and then being on the show with Dwayne Martin. Mm-hmm. That's really where I know Lisa Ray from. And then I know she was on the show on MTV as well. I forget the name of the show. But that's where I know her from her work before I know her from anybody. So,
well, I mean, she to Pooh's point, she was kind of like that. Like it's a different era because obviously social media wasn't prevalent at that time. But the moment that we knew her as Diamond from Players Club, she definitely got a lot of roles based off of that. Like, it wasn't a wide range of acting or appearances from her. It was kind of like that's Diamond from Players Club. And then she started appearing in all these different shows and movies based off of that. So a little bit like that. I wouldn't call it the same thing because we knew her first from a movie and then it expanded. Where some of these other people, we kind of know them by their personality, their profile, and then they expanded. Toss It Up video is crazy. To say we know her from that first is crazy.
First, I didn't even know she was in that video. So who did the research on that one?
Pooh, we gotta holler at you off air because you be having some comments sometimes. I'm like, yo, we might need to bring Pooh into the fold because the research is crazy. You had a good question on the Sanchez show a couple weeks ago too. I told you let us know your opinion on something, but the fact that she already knew that she was in a Toss It Up video, like you said, who did the research? How many times did you watch that video to know that she in there? I gotta go back and watch the video now.
And I'm sure for anybody, I'm not gonna say anybody, but for the most part, anybody that knew that she was in the Toss It Up video only realized that after you knew her from being in the Players Club. Like you know what I'm saying?
Moment, right in the moment you were doing that. Yeah.
Like, oh, that was this girl from such and such. But because that came out, and I don't even. I mean, first of all, that's the first time I'm hearing about that today. But I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that was ever like really made a big deal that she was in the Toss It Up video. Like most people know her from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the Players Club.
And that's the Brat sister.
And then yeah, exactly. And then the Brat sister. Pooh, you crazy, man. We love you, Pooh. We appreciate you rocking out with us, and we appreciate everybody that's supporting us. But
Hmm.
Pooh going in. Okay, fellas, I'm gonna let y'all finish y'all show and come back. Let me go back. Let me go back to Ryan's question so we can get this NFL talk because we had a couple of big trades. Um, we about to talk football right now, Ryan. I got you. Do the Browns get better because of Jerry Judy? Yeah, I think they do. Especially if Amari Cooper builds off of the season that he had last year, and that team in general builds off of the successes that they had in the second round of the season. We got to see what's going on at the quarterback position. But the way Joe Flacco had that offense looking them last 6-7 games, I think Jerry Judy can help. I think it's coming from somebody who watched Jerry Judy in college and saw what he was able to do there. I think a change of scenery will be good for him. And then the fact that he's going to be across the field from Amari Cooper, who had one of the biggest games from a wide receiver this past season that we've seen in a long time. I think is going to be very beneficial for him, and I think he'll do well. And I think the Browns will be very good because of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer a question with a question. How could they not be better? You add Jerry Judy now across the field, like you said, from Amari Cooper, from David Njoku. Don't forget they get Nick Chubb back. Nick Chubb missed most of last season. Now they get their running game back. All these things are now more weapons for Deshaun Watson, and you hope that now year 3 with Deshaun Watson is probably the best version of him. He's had more than enough time with Kevin Stefanski in that offense. But Jerry Judy, I think he makes them better now because he makes them more dynamic. It's another weapon on the field. You can never have too many weapons on the field, and now the Browns have just added another one, so it does make them better.
Yeah. Let me just throw Pooh's last comment up here. Y'all go watch it. We'll talk about. Yo, Pooh, why you always giving us homework to do?
That's why I said we got to find a way to bring Pooh into the fold of things because Pooh be ending off the show like, yo, I need y'all to go do this now. I got an assignment for y'all to go do this. Go do some research.
Pooh, come rock out with us for an episode, man. You gotta send us your email so we can set something up for you to rock out on one of these shows with us. All right. But Mac Jones, he will be going to Jacksonville to be the backup quarterback, which definitely solidifies the New England Patriots will be drafting a quarterback. I believe they have the 3rd pick in the draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yep. No, you're correct.
The fact that they traded the quarterback who they just drafted 4 years ago or 3 years ago, definitely tell you that they are drafting a quarterback. Which quarterback they will be drafting, I'll tell you, it won't be Caleb Williams because he's going to be gone.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll still be there at number 3.
Yeah, so one of those of those two guys.
Yeah, the early reports are that Jalen Daniels is number 1 on their list. He is the Heisman winning quarterback out of LSU. This is the right move for the Patriots. It was time to move on for Mac Jones. It was, with a new head coach coming in with Gerard Mayo, new regime and kind of a new direction. It's best to get the new quarterback in there. For the Jaguars, I don't understand it. And I know people say, oh, it's just a 6th-round pick. It's not just that it's a 6th-round pick. You're bringing in a young quarterback to be the backup to your franchise quarterback. Mac Jones adds nothing to this team. If you're the Jaguars and you're truly trying to compete, what you really needed was a veteran quarterback who can come in and help Trevor Lawrence, right? And kind of like advance his progression as a young quarterback, not another young quarterback who's already struggling in his previous stop to come in. This does nothing for the Jaguars. I know it's a 6th-round pick, but there are plenty of quality players in the 6th round. Let's not forget a guy like Isaiah Pacheco winning the 7th round of the draft. Let's not forget a Brock Purdy winning the 7th round of the draft. So you can get quality guys in the 6th round of a draft if you scout properly. For the Jaguars, again, this makes absolutely no sense. Mac Jones does nothing for you in the short term or long term. Why the hell are you trading for Mac Jones? I just don't get it.
Exactly. Really quick, happy trails. Fletcher Cox, he joins Jason Kelsey as far as the Eagles retirement players. Shout out to both of those dudes. As a Giants fan, I've seen those guys a lot over the past decade or so. But great, both of them great NFL players. With great careers. So big shout out to both of those guys. All right.
It's so hard to say goodbye, Trip. Shout out to Boys and Men. It's a Philly connection. But Fletcher Cox out of there, Jason Kelsey out of there. And I think there'll be some more. They posted a picture earlier today from that 2017 championship team. No one is left from that team just a few years ago. The Eagles will look a lot different. Shout out to all the Eagles fans who support the show, because I think you guys are headed for a little bit of a rough patch. Not still a good team, but a little bit of a rough patch.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get some quick boxing news. I just want to get I'm gonna run through a couple of these, but then I want to get your opinion on this last topic that we're gonna do, Eric. Anthony Joshua got the second round KO of Francis Ngannou. Quick fight, and Jake Paul is going to fight Mike Tyson later this year on Netflix, and we're gonna get into that fight in depth within the next couple of weeks. But the question I want you to finish the show off by answering is: do you think that Canelo ducked Benavidez? He is set to fight Jamie Munguia. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. On May 4th.
I got you. Jaime Munguia. I got you. But
I need
I'll say this. Initially, I was critical of Canelo because I want the Benavidez fight. But when I saw it was Munguia, I said, okay, I see the vision now. This is the lead up to the Benavidez fight. Canelo is trying to cement his legacy by meeting Mexican fighters to end it off. So he gets Jaime Munguia first. It's going to build up the anticipation for the eventual Benavidez fight. It will happen. I don't think he's ducking him. I think this is more of a business move to lead up to the buildup, because, and I want to present this question to everyone. If he had taken the fights in reverse, there would be no one who would be interested in the Jaime Munguia fight. If he had taken Benavidez, and let's say he beats Benavidez, then no one cares that he's fighting Jaime Munguia, who's also a very good, very young fighter. But because he's fighting Munguia first, as you mentioned, everyone's still going to be like, well, what about Benavidez? When are you going to fight Benavidez? So it leads into that, and I think they will make it happen. And I think this is Canelo being the businessman of it. I know Benavidez was very critical, but I believe Crawford had come out and said, I understand it. Because people were trying to say, oh, well, since Canelo is no longer has ties to PBC, is he ducking the Benavidez fight or maybe even the Crawford fight? And Crawford said, no, I view this as business is business. And he understood PBS, that situation was no longer good for the business of Canelo Alvarez. He's got to do it on his own. I think Canelo is going to take all three of those fights, to be honest. He is a boxing historian and he's a boxing lifer. Munguia, I think, leads into Benavidez. Crawford has his fight set up, I believe, with Eubanks coming up soon.
Yeah. So
I think all three line up. I think Canelo does Munguia, which leads into Benavidez, which leads into the super fight with Crawford.
Yeah, because I mean, the Benitez, that fight is going to be one of the bigger fights in boxing.
Yep.
And yeah, you're right. If he goes in and beats Benavidez, nobody cares now, because first of all, most people don't even know who he is. We're gonna call a spade a spade. He's
casual boxing fans do not know, right?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, casual boxing fans may not even know Benavidez.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same way. Yep.
Yeah, so you have to do it this way, and then I guess you go in order. And obviously the best out of those three fighters would be Crawford. Now Benavidez may possibly be able to beat Canelo, but if we're just in the rankings, it would Crawford, Benavidez, and then Jaime. So it would go like that. So yeah, but I tell you this: if he don't fight Benitez next, especially after Benitez offered to do a 98-2 split, then I'm gonna say he ducking. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt on this one. But if you go back and let me say this to Benavidez, you better not do no 98-2 split, because now, you know what I'm saying, if again, this is you gave him that chance on this fight. For the next fight, you better just get paid, brother. Bump that.
And I 1000% agree. If Benavidez is not the next fight, I will be the first to say, hey, I was wrong. I did not think Canelo would avoid this fight. But I don't think Canelo will avoid the fight. Canelo, his history, his track record has shown he doesn't avoid anyone. He doesn't. Like, he fought Floyd. There are people to this day who will stand on that hill of, oh, he was too young when he fought Floyd. So if he was willing to fight Floyd when he was willing to fight him, if he was willing to take on light heavyweights, let's not forget, Canelo went from as low as 140 pounds, and at one point in his career, at multiple times in his career, he's fought light heavyweights. And there was, and Andre Ward has even said that there was talks behind the scene for him and Andre Ward to even fight. So Canelo has never ducked the smoke from anybody. So I would be surprised if I find out, as great as Benavidez is, I know the Mexican monster and all the nicknames, I would be surprised if Canelo was ducking Benavidez, because there has never been a point in his career where he's ducked anybody.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. Give us a final thought, Eric.
Final thought, man. Keep tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We love the support. 5 o'clock on a Sunday, 3 o'clock on a Sunday. It don't matter what time we go live on a Sunday. Y'all rock with us. Trip, I'm sending you the invite this Tuesday night, the Sanchez show, 9 p.m. We getting into some things. Some things. So we need we need you in the mix with that one as well. And we hope to see everybody Tuesday night. And man, again, I'm so thankful for everybody who rocks with us every week, man. Continue to show us the love and support, because it definitely fuels what we're doing right now.
Exactly. I'm gonna just use my final thought, because I didn't want to miss Imani's other question. She said, "Why did the Lakers get Spencer?" They got Spencer so he could do things like what he did the other night when they played the Bucks and he blocked Damian Lillard's shot. You know what I'm saying, to help them get that win without LeBron James. But more seriously, they wanted a backup point guard, somebody that could score and Dinwiddie can put some numbers up. He also played alongside of D'Angelo Russell, before, so they have some chemistry together. But yeah, I think that's all that it was. He's a good player that they got for cheap.
That's all it is. Yep.
Give them depth. With that being said, though, make sure you guys are following us on all our social media: Instagram, Twitter at Real Fan Talk, Facebook.com/ For the Fans Productions, YouTube.com. I'm sorry, Facebook.com/ Real Fans Real Talk, YouTube.com/ For the Fans Productions. Sorry, got to get that straight today. All right. And if you can't watch us on TV Thursday nights on Verizon 43, just go on the website, realfansrealtalk.com, click that red button on the home page, and you can watch from anywhere in the world. Make sure you guys subscribe to both the Sanchez Show and the Real Fans Real Talk podcast. We are streaming on all major platforms. And in the words of one of the great DJs that we've ever seen, we ain't going nowhere. So because we're gonna be here. All right. For myself, Trip Young, my brother, my co-host, Eric Sanchez, aka Legend in 2 Games. We up out of here. Peace.